Hi, Miss Woods here. We're going to be talking about terrific trio card sort. The sentence frame is for the first activity inside this is I noticed that this picture. So you have three people in each group, three students in each group. They're going to put all the pictures are in a row, and then one person is allowed to discuss the picture. The other two must only listen. So they're listening, practicing listening for everything that the person whose turn it is says and to figure out if they agree or disagree. Now, if they disagree, they still have to remain silent. So each person, when it's their turn, will remove the covering. They can either slide it or they can just delete it. And then they say, I noticed that this picture has a bunch of little squares that make up a rectangle. I noticed that there are three rows. I noticed that there are four in each row or four in each column, or that there are four columns. They can even say the color. I noticed that this is green. I noticed that if I take 4 times 3, I get the total number of squares, which is 12. I notice if I do 3 times 4, I get 12 squares. I notice if I add 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, that I get 12, or 4 plus 4 plus 4, I get 12. So they have to say everything they notice about the picture. Then after they finish, then the next person will go and they'll erase their covering and they'll say everything they notice while the other two students listen. And then the third person goes. When they have all of them revealed, then they go on to the next slide. Now, this will probably be all in the same slide. I know I said go to the next slide. Then they go to adding the equations, and the equations will be all covered up. So the first person will reveal an equation. And here is their sentence stem. I think this picture might match the equation because. So they have to look at what this is saying, and then they have to drag this to the right picture that it matches. And then they have to use the sentence frame. I think this picture of the purple little squares might match the equation 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 because I see 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in this row, and that would be 7 plus 7, in this column, and that would be 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7. Now, when they're done, and the other two people only listen, they cannot speak at all. So then the next person would go and they would reveal their equation and they would match where they think it goes. And they would say, I think this picture might match. I think this picture of the green squares, which is area, might match the equation 3 times 4 because there are 3 rows with 4 in each row and there are a total of 12 squares. So they have to justify their thinking. They have to explain their thinking during the think aloud process. And then the next person would go by removing their cover. Then the last part is the word problem. So there are word problems underneath this cover. So they will remove the cover either by deleting or by sliding them off. And here is a word problem. Now remember, the other two people are only listening. They cannot correct anything, even if they think the person has done it incorrectly or they disagree. So I'm the first person and I read this. The classroom has a length of 4 feet by 6 feet. How many square feet of the carpet is needed to cover the entire classroom? So then they would use the sentence frame. I think this picture, this with the red squares, and the equation 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 might match the word problem, might match this word problem because the length is 4 feet and I have 4 rows by 6 feet and I have 6 columns. And overall, the area of this is 24. And this area is 24. So these would match. And then the next person goes, and so on. Remember, the other two are just listening as the student does the think aloud. Now, when everything is uncovered and matched, that's the only time that they can move things around or revise their thinking. And it's important to say they're revising their thinking, just like in ELA, when we get a chance to revise our composition. So we're tying in that cross content by saying we're revising our thinking. All right, now it's your turn to try.